Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. So on today's video we are going to be doing a one sheet wonder, and I'm going to make sure to leave links down below for the video that I found on YouTube, and hopefully this will inspire you. So as you saw, we're using the Flora 2 collection, and the first thing I'm going to do is actually stamp. It's a dragonfly from, I want to say, a Technique Tuesday stamp set that I got from the boutique a while ago. I want to say it was almost 2 years ago. And I'm inking up twice in my Misty tool so that way I get a nice crisp black image. And then I'm going to take this and sprinkle clear embossing powder over it. And what it does is, because of that ink cube that was in our kit, it is a pigment ink, so it stays wet longer. So with using the clear embossing powder, it gives it a really pretty shine. And I didn't want you to sit through me stamping 15 of them, but I wanted you to see what it looked like. And then I also took the same ink and stamped May All Your Wishes Come True. So I'm making actually 15 birthday cards. I pre-cut all my die cuts and my sentiment circles so that all I have to do now is put them together. And you can do all different sentiments. Every card does not have to be the same. I'm personally doing that to make it easier for me, and doing this as a process video to teach you guys how to do it. Okay, so this is the pattern paper that we're going to be cutting down today. We're going to start off first, like I said, the links below for the lady who I got all these measurements from. But our first cut is going to be at 3 1/4 inch. So your first strip is going to be 3 1/4 by 12. And then we're going to cut the same measurement again, 3 1/4 by 12. Okay. And then we're going to put this other side over to the right, and we're going to cut these down to 5 inch, and then 5 inch again. And these stay the same. These are fine. We're not going to do anything else with those. We're going to set them off to the side. Now with this one, we're going to do the same 5 inch and cut 5 inch again. That piece gets put to the side, but these two pieces, I'm going to turn my cutter around and I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so you guys can see what I'm doing. You're going to take your pattern paper and you're going to line up each of your points to the 1 inch, one below and the 1 inch above. And then once you have it on the diagonal, making sure that they're lined up, you're just going to cut, and it's going to create these two shapes. So one for each card. And I actually like the pattern on the back of this, so I'm going to turn my page over and do the same thing, so that way I have two with the one side pattern and two with the flowers. So two with the gingham and two with the flowers. And I like how those turned out. Okay, so after we did those two different squares, we're going to take the larger sheet, and at this point I'm going to wind up cutting that extra edge, that strip off, so that way it'll be easier to cut out the next sections. So if your piece has that, you can go ahead and just cut that off. Usually I do it at the beginning, but I just start it right away on this one. So we're going to turn it and put it on 2 inches, and then we're going to turn and cut at 4 inches. We're going to put that piece to the side and then cut again at 2 inches. Alright, and then we're going to grab that sheet again, and this time we're going to cut it at 5 inches. Sorry about that. I'm just wanting to kind of shift everything over. So 5 inches, And then we're going to turn it at 2.5, and we're going to cut. And on this one, we're going to turn it again and cut at 2.5 inches. So you have two squares that are 2.5 by 2.5. And then this one, we're going to cut at 1.5. The piece that was off to the right side, we're going to line it up on 3/4 inch. And on mine, I think because I don't, like on the edge, I didn't trim as close as I could have. It left a little bit extra. So you just want to have two strips that are 3/4 inch. And then that other piece that we had, we're just going to cut each one at an inch. So I went from 4 inches and just kept cutting up until I had 5 pieces all at the same size. We're going to put those to the side. And then this remaining piece we have left, we're going to do the 2.5 inches again. That piece we're going to keep. And then 3/4 inch. And we're going to do that twice. So at the end, you're going to have 4 strips that are 3/4 inch by 5, I believe it is. And then on this one, we're actually going to wind up cutting it like we did the last time at 4 inch and then at 2 inch. And then we're going to move, that's the end of the cutting. That's the entire 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So every piece has been used. Excuse me. And now I'm going to lay out all the pieces. So my 4 strips, the small little squares, I lined them all up. Anything that's a similar shape or size, I try to keep them all together for the most part, because that's going to help with putting it, pretty much together. So I pre-stamped all of my 15 focal images and sentiments, and then I have my card bases, and on these particular ones I did cut some matte pages because my base cards aren't that strong, so I wanted to make sure that I gave it some weight. So this is one that I did prior to making the video. And with the black one, it's a super thick cardstock in comparison, so I didn't have to. And once I did my test sheets with the brown, I realized I needed to add that layer to keep it strong. So I'm going to just take my pages and I'm going to start with the bigger sheets first, because most of these, all you're going to do is just center them and attach them right to your cardstock. Now my matte page that I'm attaching everything to, I made 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And since these two are the same, I wanted to make sure I had one that was the flower pattern and one with the gingham pattern that's on the other side. So that way it gives it some variety within the pack. Now this one, I only have one of, and I'm going to use the flower and put that one closer to the left side. I want it to be slightly off center. So that way, it'll create some interest when we go to add on the other parts. And on her video, she goes through all this with you as well. It's pretty much the same exact thing that she used. I'm just showing you guys using the pattern paper from our kit for March that you can do all of these same things as well. The one sheet wonders, you can make scrapbooks, you can do layouts. There's the only limitation is what you do as a crafter. If you're not a scrapbooker and you do cards, then you have cards galore that you can make with this 12 by 12 collection, because if you did a bunch of one sheet wonders, think about how many cards you can make per sheet. So I'm excited about it. So now I'm going to just continue attaching. Now when you do the weird shaped ones, we want them in the bottom left hand corner, and you just want to make sure you have the even amount of space on both the left and the bottom, so that way it looks nice and even. Now on this one, the strips for the, I give you this as a tip. Start with your outside strips. Make sure you have them even and lined up. Okay. I've done these before in other sketch challenges, and I just find that if you start with your outside pieces and work your way in, you tend to have more of an opportunity to get everything lined up and spaced evenly. And for some of my crafting friends out there who are more anal about everything lining up, you can use a ruler like your Tim Holtz ruler to line up and get everything as even as possible. If you're, really that concerned about it, it doesn't bother me as much because I know we're also going to be having our sentiment on it. We're going to have some ribbon, and we're going to also, obviously have that big focal image. So I'm just lining it up as best as I can. I'm trying to keep not all the flowers in one spot, but I know up at the top, my focal image is going to wind up covering most of the pattern paper. So I really like the flowers in this pattern. So I tried to make sure most of the flowers are down towards the bottom as I could. A lot of the bigger ones. And this one wound up being just a little bit shorter. I think my ruler moved, so I just wanted to make sure it was all more lined up evenly. Now the squares that are 2.5 by 2.5, these we're just gonna put on towards the left side, and I give it just like a little, not even a full 1/4 inch around the side and the bottom to line it up. But once you have one down, it's pretty easy to line up the second one. You just want to have a little bit of space in between. Now these two pieces are going to just go right on the bottom, and I have two of these. So one's going to be the gingham side and one's going to be the flower side. And that's one of the benefits of doing this with double-sided paper. And I also suggest that you do something that has patterns, because I know, like, in her video she was doing a Christmas one, and it wound up like some of the words were upside down. It really didn't matter because the words were kind of all going in different directions. But if you're someone who, that's the kind of thing that would drive you crazy, is having something upside down or flipped, then you just want to be mindful of what pattern you're choosing, because with the way certain pieces are cut, you do run the risk of it being upside down. So with the smaller squares that we have two of, one in the top and one in the bottom, it doesn't matter if you do it left to right, right to left. You just want to kind of create that shape. And then on these are going to be more horizontal style cards. So I'm doing the 3 at the bottom on this one, and then we're getting down to the smaller pieces where we have 3 of each. So you're going to see how we're going to lay these down. And we're just, once again, I'm starting with the outside. I'll do those two pieces first and then attach the middle piece. And we're going to attach that one. And what helps is also, if you do get it slightly off center, you can kind of straighten it up with the ribbon that you use. Depending on how thick or how wide it is, you could always, kind of cover the fact that it's, really off or center or not even. But really and truly, these are homemade cards, right? They're supposed to have a little bit of elements that maybe aren't as perfect. That's why I love doing these. Like, sometimes my sentiments get a little wonky. I try to get it perfect and even, and then you can wind up ripping your hair out trying to be this perfectionist. And it's like, we're human. We're not a machine that's going to be spitting out a bunch of these cards at one time. So just relax about it. Try and figure out a way that works best for you for lining up. For me, it's starting, like I said, with that bottom. doing one on the top, and then it's easier for me to put the one in the middle as evenly spaced between the two as I possibly can. And then once I get this one, the last piece put on, we're going to start putting down the ribbon. And what I decided on this one, well, I would say on my test ones, I used your regular ribbon, whether I think one was denim and another one was just regular spool of ribbon or whatever. But on this, I wanted to use some lace. And I was trying to figure out the best way to get this on. So I decided to use some double-sided tape. This is score tape, which I will make sure to have linked down below. And there's all different widths you can use. This one is the 3/8 width, and I like it because it's small enough that it'll fit behind this ribbon. And if I had something that was an inch long, inch wide, you still wouldn't see it because it would fall right in the middle. And then I just make sure there's enough on each end, and I'm going to wrap it around. And at this point, what I'll do is, because um, the tape itself is, well, this is just a little bit of a process. I'm going to go ahead and let the music play for a little while, because I'm going to be putting the ribbon on all 15. And, I think it'll be self-explanatory. And then I'll come back in when it's time to start putting everything together, okay? I'll be right back. going to go ahead and come back in here. I just wanted to go over a few things with you guys real quick while I continue to put the sentiments and the focal image on our projects. But make sure you go to scrapbookingwithme.com. I will have a link down below. I will also have my coupon code that you can use when you purchase. It's going to be capital T 15. So make sure you use that. And I want you guys to know, like, I enjoy being a part of creating the monthly kits, not only getting able to use it to show you guys, what you can do with it all, but just really creating these and keeping all kinds of crafters in mind, whether it be a card maker, a scrapbooker, layout maker, to someone who's doing scrapbooks or whatever your crafting thing may be. I love that we try to put a little bit of something for everybody that you can use in your future products or projects, I should say. So on this one here, we're using the foam squares that came in the kit. We've used 2 sheets of paper. The one I did off camera before we started, but you'll see I'm going to show you all of them in just a little bit. We're using in our previous one, I'm sorry, my brain just kind of stopped there. Could you tell? In our previous video, I did a layout and I used enamel dots, sticker sheet. We had some ephemera, and we used the pattern paper itself. And then I still have the flowers that I can use, which I'm probably going to make on my use on my next project. This past Tuesday, we used the embossing folder that was in the kit to do backgrounds for cards and using it in a different way, using different techniques. So I think that for the money that you spend, you get a lot of great items. And like I said, they work really well for all different crafters. It's just a matter of what do you want to make with it. So as we finish up here, I'm just continuing to add the different focal images and the sentiments. And if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, just leave them down below. I will make sure to read through it. So here we go. These are the last few that I did. I used about half of my square sheets, my foam squares, and these are all the cards that we have. 15 birthday cards that would make a great gift for somebody. And then these are the 15 that I did prior to the video, just so that I could get a feel of doing these cards, because I've done it once before, but like I said, I wanted to do them again so I could show you guys. And I'm so excited. 2 sheets of paper from the Flora 2 12 by 12 collection from the March kit, and I made 30 cards. 30 cards. 30 birthday cards. I don't know. I think it's so cool. These one sheet wonders really like blow my mind. How many cards you can get and how easy it is to make such really pretty cards. So make sure, like I said before, you hit the like and subscribe button. If you click on my photo at the end, you can subscribe and hit the little bell, and you'll get alerts whenever I upload new content. And make sure you check out scrapbookingwithme.com for some great merchandise. Please, you guys, and use my coupon code TT15. Thank you and have a great day.